Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, it's day 2 of my 4-day weekend, and I got just a few little errands I need to run today. First off, I got to run over to the printer and print something out for my mom. You may recall that a couple weeks ago I printed out basically my mom's eulogy in her for my father, and printed those out and mailed those out to all of the family. Well, she also does an annual Christmas letter, and she's always typed that up, and my father's always done the formatting and the printing out and stuff like that. And since she doesn't have that option anymore, I've kind of become her go-to person on stuff like that. So a few days ago she sent me the text of her Christmas letter in an email form, and I'm going to drop that into Microsoft Office, kind of clean it up, make it look nice, make it fit the page, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to go get those printed out and mail them back to her. One of the things she wants to do, she didn't send one of those eulogy letters to everyone, just close friends and family, but now she's going to deal with the rest of the people who may not know that my father passed and may not know about the online memorial for him, and that's going to be in the form of this letter. So I'm going to get that done. I also, while I'm at the printers, want to print out a copy of the owner's manual for my barbecue, because that's one of the other things I want to try and maybe play with a little bit today. I don't know if I'm going to actually smoke anything, but I want to get the smoker side working, at least figure out how to run that. I haven't done that right now, and I kind of looked at the instructions a little bit online, and I think I'm gonna have to probably bring the thing out with me and just sit in front of the barbecue and do it step by step and read the directions and then do what it says, and that's just gonna be how I figure that out. I also got to run over, get the oil changed on my car, get a little servicing done there, so we're going to do that in the same trip. And then I want to spend a little time working on a problem that I have with the toilet in the guest bathroom. It's just a minor little adjustment. I know what the problem is, and it'll be a real simple fix. So we'll get to that also today. So let's get going on this. Oh, and this thing is completely overflowing the bedding now. Got a lot of flowers on it, so we're gonna get a lot of those little pumpkin things, or whatever they are. We never did actually figure out what they are, but we're gonna have a lot of them, whatever they are. Let's see if we can go find one. Here's one that looks like it's just starting to grow there. That's gonna be one, obviously. There was one under here. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, it's still here. I see it. Right there. So I don't know, I don't see any more of them in here, but like I said, there's a lot of flowers, so whatever they are, we're gonna have a lot of them. Alright, so this is my mom's letter. I've got it dropped into Word now. I've kind of picked a nice font, did a little spell checking, grammar checking, wordsmithing to get it look nice, formatted it real nice, got it to fill the page, found kind of a cool font to use with it, and I think this is what we're gonna go with. So I'm going to save this as a PDF, and I'm going to bring it over to the printer place, and we'll get that printed out and go run our other errands. I miss the days when you could just drive into the dealership and say, "Hey, I need to have a B1 service done." And they say, "Yeah, okay, have a seat. We'll have it ready in about 30 minutes." Now apparently I got to get an appointment for this, so I got an appointment tomorrow at 11:30, and we'll do this then. So let's go over to the printers. Alright, so I got my mom's Christmas letters all printed out, ready to go. I'm actually going to send this all to my mom. I'm also going to send her my notes from my eulogy of my dad. And part of the way I got some of the video footage that we used in the memorial video came from their church, and they sent me DVDs of some of the concerts that my dad had participated in, and just particular performances that my mom wanted, and so I'm going to return those DVDs to her also. And I also got a printout of my barbecue now, so my manual for my barbecue. So when I get back from the mail, from mailing this stuff off to my mom, I want to review this, and we want to dig into the smoker. And while I was out there, I kind of stopped by Home Depot and came up with another solution to a problem I was unable to deal with about a month ago. You may recall that I bought a bunch of those electrical outlets that had the USB plugs on them, and then found out they wouldn't fit in the breakout boxes I have. Well, these things just actually go right on the surface. They just plug right into the outlet, and they turn 2 outlets into 3 outlets plus 3 USB ports. So I got a couple of those, and we're going to install those around the house too. Alright, so now that we have that all out of the way, I want to move on to the next thing, which is this little issue that I have with this toilet. Every once in a while when I flush it, after the water fills back up, you'd think it just keeps running and running and running and running and running. It's one of those cases, we've all had it happen, where you just jiggle the handle and it stops, it solves the problem. Well, there's a specific reason that's happening. It's not really that difficult to fix, and I've already kind of peered in here and kind of know what's going on in here and have kind of a theory of what I want to look at. So first thing we want to do is let's take the top off the bowl, shut off the water, and drain the tank. Alright, so I got the top off the tank. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shut off the water at the shut off valve here. A lot of times these things you have to rotate a bunch of times to shut them off. This apparently is just a 90-degree on or off, so makes it a little easier to turn it on and turn it off. So I've turned the water off, because what we're going to do is we're going to actually drain this tank right now. And if the water is back on, then it'll just fill back up again. But if we drain it with the water shut off, then we can get all the water out of here and work on what the problem is. So I'm just going to pull the lever here and flush everything here. Yeah, how many of you thought you'd be watching me flush the toilet today on my video? Okay, and I intentionally held on to the handle because I wanted all the water to drain out. You can really see here, if you've never really looked at this, this is kind of how these toilets work. There's nothing really that special to them. You got the handle here, which when you pull the handle, it makes the little wand there go up. And when the wand goes up, the chain on it pulls the little plug on the bottom that plugs the hole, and all the water flushes out. Now usually there's a floater here, and this one's a little bit different, but when the water level gets back up to a certain level, the floater goes up and the water shuts off. The problem I know is what's going on is when I've opened it up and looked at this problem, the problem is this chain has gotten kinked somehow, and as a result, the plug isn't going down. And as long as the plug doesn't go all the way down, the water continues to run out and it'll never fill up. And you can see part of the problem here is there's just, it's this chain, and the chain is kind of rough, and it's got all this extra stuff in here, and there's things that can hook to something else, and then that causes it to, the chain not to be as long as it needs to be. And so it just doesn't go down. So what I want to do is really kind of look at this and see if there's a better way of doing this. Because it may be just an issue of just making a tiny little adjustment, but I also could get one of those little ball chain things that they have, that they sometimes use for necklaces, and those are pretty good too, because they definitely won't get tangled up with each other. But I want to kind of look at this and let's at least see if we can fix this one. Alright, so I can already see something I think I want to look at. I just disconnected the chain from the wand on the top, and normally this little hook piece here hooks onto the wand, and so the chain was intentionally made longer than it needed to be, because then you can measure it and get it to the right length for it. But normally what you do is, once you've established where you want to have the hook, you cut off the rest of the rungs so that they don't get tangled up in something else. And I think that's what's going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a pair of wire cutters, and I'm going to cut off those unneeded 5 or 6 links of chain there, because that's just something to get tangled up. I don't see anything else here that should be a problem. So I may actually even remeasure this thing a little bit just to see if I can even perfect it a little bit more. But I'm going to start by cutting off those 5 links. Alright, so I got those 5 links cut off, and I don't think I'm going to make any more adjustments. I want to kind of do it one thing at a time here. But this should take care of the issue. I don't see anything else on there that this thing could get tangled up in. So I am going to try. I'm going to say for now that we've fixed this, but we're going to keep an eye on it. And if it continues to happen, like I said, the problem was intermittent before. So if it continues to happen, then we'll revisit this on a future vlog. But I think for now we've got this done. So I'm going to shut the water, turn the water back on, and we'll just move on to the next thing. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to install those USB plugs that will go over the outlets. And I've kind of decided that I want one of them to go here. I was originally thinking I wanted to have actually an outlet here, but this is all going to be tied up now for the entertainment system. So it makes more sense to do it over here. And actually maybe this was a better idea to begin with, because if somebody did want to come and like charge their cell phone or something like that, they could plug it into there or just set it right here onto the mantle in the fireplace. So that's actually maybe a perfect place. So let's put that in there and see how that works. Now, one of the things that really kind of caught my attention about this, in addition to the fact that it has 3 regular outlets, 2 USB outlets, and then something called USB 3, which is even something different. But what's really kind of cool about this is that these receptacles will rotate to the side. So if you have them, for instance, against a wall and you don't necessarily want the plug sticking out, no problem. You can put them, you have them stick out this way. So I don't know, I thought that was kind of cool, and that'll come in handy in a couple places here. But right now, let's install this one. And to install this is literally all you do. All right, since we already have the lights plugged in, and we know that that's working because this is a part of what's lighting the scene right now. Let's plug in the a USB device and see if it charges my phone. That's encouraging. Check them both. All right, that works. Good. Let's move on to the next 2. All right, so we're going to install one of these in the guest bedroom, and this is an option here, but not a particularly good option because we're going to have the dresser right here, and so that'll make that hard to get at. And this one's an equally bad option because this one's going to be behind the bed. So I'm thinking right now I've got an outlet right here, and this is where we're going to install this. We could put a little table or something next to it, and then people could set their cell phones on that. And this one goes right here. And was a little concerned there. It took a second for that little green light to come on, so I was concerned that there was maybe a problem there, but I guess it takes a second just to warm up. Test the cell phone. That's encouraging. All right, so that one's in. All right, and I've chosen this one in the master bedroom. This is the one between the 2 windows, kind of facing out into the front yard. So that's probably the best place there because it's the only place that I have that's an outlet that's available that isn't covered by something. So this works for here. We'll put a little table next to this and we'll be good to go. So cell phone works. All right. Yeah, this is the option I really should have chosen with these things because actually this is way more convenient than what I originally planned to do for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons I really like this is, I mentioned the fact that the outlets swivel like this, which is kind of cool, which is nice if you want to, put them behind something. Put something, put this behind like a desk or a dresser or a bed or whatever. But it's also kind of nice because it has a surge suppressor in it. So it'll, if you get like a lightning strike or some sort of a spike on the power line, this will protect the devices that are plugged into it, which is really nice. And of course, the final advantage that over the previous option I had is, hey, I can move them. You saw how easy they are to disconnect. You just pull it away from the wall. If you want to move it somewhere else, you move it somewhere else. So I'm actually kind of glad this is the way I should have gone the first time. These things were about the same price as those USB plugs that I attempted to install into these outlets. And yeah, okay, it sticks away from the wall a little bit, but that's okay. You can work with that. I think it's a great upgrade, and I'm glad I did this. So I've read through the relevant sections of the manual and actually watched a couple of videos on YouTube about setting these things up and getting what they call the first burn going, which is what I've got going now. I started off, I put some pellets in the hopper here. I just put a few of them in there because this is just an experiment. And then basically you turn on the power, which is this button here. You set this thing to smoke, and it begins feeding those pellets into the little igniter there, and starts producing the smoke. And then when you want to, you start cranking up the temperature, and the temperature inside the chamber will increase, and you'll end up doing your smoking. So, there's not a lot of smoke coming off right now, but what it seems to do is that when pellets get in there, they start smoking, and then it smokes for a little bit, and then it turns off and all that. So we're just going to kind of let this thing go for a while and see what happens. Truth is, I'm not going to cook anything on this tonight, because what I'm thinking about is going to probably take all day to do, and it's already about 5 o'clock, so I'll probably just have a little bit of my cheeseburger pie from yesterday. That should be a good dinner for tonight. But like I said, this was our experiment tonight to get this thing to be on and to start cooking, and it definitely appears that we are doing that. We are producing smoke. So like I said, I'm just going to let this run for a little while, and they recommend you do that anyway, because you kind of want to burn off all the oils and all the contaminants that are on the inside of the thing from the manufacturing process, because I guess that's an issue. But yeah, I've set the thing to go up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's currently at 250 degrees, so it's moving in the right direction. So let's just let it do its thing, and we'll come back to it and check it out later. Oh, and it smells really good in the yard right now. So, that's a good thing just in and of itself, as it makes the whole yard smell really, really yummy. Like I said, I got the hickory pellets in there this time, and I've also got something else that I'll try at another point, but wanted to start with that one. So anyway, I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.